Here are tools and materials for the project. You'll need a base piece of paper, tools for marking, anything is fine. Wrapping paper, tin foil, greeting cards are great if you want to collage. Scissors, and of course your hands for cutting, tearing, and creating. This is paper from old artwork. Magazines can give you images that you might like. And of course, if you're going to collage, you need attaching tools. Okay, let's create that artwork that's going to give inspiration to the world, that will give joy to the world. So we want to start with our base, which is going to be a flat piece of paper. It can be a piece of cardboard if you like to, that's fine. This is a piece of computer paper. It could be a piece of notebook paper. You might have a piece of construction paper. Here are two different colors, black and yellow. I found a piece of paper from a magazine. Didn't have any images, but I thought that might make for an interesting background. I also found some piano music. And so I'm not using the piano book anymore. Whatever you decide to use as your base, and you're going to be drawing if you want on it, collaging on it, painting on it, just make sure that you do have permission from a parent for what you're using. And I think for this project, I am going to use the piano music because I love playing piano and I love music. And I know many of you know that in my art studio, I often have music playing. So that brings me a lot of happiness. What I'm doing now is I'm just trimming the piano music so it gets closer to the 8.5 by 11 that I need. You can have a parent do this. You can try doing it. You just go around the edges. I'm holding firm with my other hand so the paper stays together. Doesn't have to be perfect. The edges don't have to be perfect. They might be a little, but there you go. So I'm going to pull aside the extra scraps so my workplace is neat. I'm going to turn this around so the music is facing up, and that way you can see it also. Okay. I'm also just going to make sure that this is focused for you. Get it as focused as we can. Okay. So I have my base. I have my start, and music inspires me. As an artist, you really want to be creating things that inspire you. And last week's lesson was your happiness drawing. You might want to use some of those images on this creation that you make this week. What I just drew was a lawn. I was out walking my dogs earlier today, and something new that I saw from springtime was lawns that were covered with little flowers. So I saw lawns with purple flowers, and the flowers were kind of rounded, but they were really stunning. It was like looking at a blanket, a green blanket that had a purple design on it. I really loved walking by that. So that brought me a lot of happiness. So I know that I'd like to use that in my making art for those who need some happiness. Okay, so that was the purple part. The yellow flowers are a little bit more spiky. So I'm using oil pastels here. You can use crayon. You can use paints if you have them. You can just draw with a pencil if you'd like, or use markers. That's really up to you. As long as your ideas come from your heart and mind, you're set. I'm noticing that these yellow flowers and not showing up so well. But I'm hoping that once I add back in my green, they will pop a little bit. That's looking pretty good. And again, you don't need to make it absolutely perfect. You can just give an impression, or kind of the feeling of what you saw. But hopefully this would get across to whoever's going to look at this artwork that this was beautiful and joyful. I'm almost done here, holding my paper down. I can always go back into and add more of the green if I want to. Okay, now there's a lot of green here and a lot of flowers, so I'm thinking I want to make something come up. And I have some really interesting materials and papers for collage. So I have some, this was maybe from a calendar. Let's see, I have some paper that was wrapping paper. Here's some more paper from a calendar. Let's see, here's some, this is something from IKEA. Oh, this is reminding me when I was outside how I saw some beautiful trees with magnolia leaves. Let's see. What happens if I cut into this a little bit and make some kind of wavy lines? If you don't have scissors, you can tear also, and that could make something really beautiful. And then I could add some trees here. I like that. Okay. I might cut this, make my trees a little bit shorter there. Okay. Now, as I said, there were magnolia blossoms on the trees. Okay, so I have this paper that had been from a painting of one of my daughters. And I have so many of their paintings. And I thought, well, what about if I used that as paper for collaging? So I see here a little bit of pink. And on this piece, I'm also seeing some pink. I think it would be okay if my petals were also blue. Remember to cut right underneath. Let's see, so you can see me doing this. Still kind of getting the hang of this. So that could be a petal. It could be a petal that, wow, this is pretty colorful. I like it. Cut out a little bit more. And again, I might not do it right now for the sake of time. So you don't have to be watching me the whole time, but it could be that I add more later. Just a few more. Okay, so magnolia petals with my green lawn. So I used this paper that had been from one of my daughters, but then I thought, well, maybe I could use paper from some of my own artwork. So this is from paper from a print that I had made. And it was maybe a ghost print, which means it wasn't my first print that I pulled, but a little bit later. And so I decided, well, maybe I could use this in my artwork. I'm going to cut out a heart here. Let's see, where might I put this heart? Oh, it looks nice there. Or here. Almost be like the sun. Could be up here, couldn't it? Let me move my tree over. I like it like that. Move some of these petals over here. Okay, so my creation is coming together for sure. If you want to add a word that's an inspiring word or a phrase, you may. I'd rather you don't do a lot of writing. I happen to find some words for a advertisement for oat milk. Here's what we believe, but I saw the word believe, and that seemed like an inspiring word for me. So I'm wondering if that could be put somewhere. It's a little bit strong. But then again, maybe everything else is so delicate. Maybe I would put believe right there. Okay, I think I'd like to draw one more thing. My dogs bring me a lot of happiness. I think that would be a nice thing to put in, a nice image to put in. Let's see if I can get a marker. It's kind of a dark marker that would show up. Here we go. Let's see what happens if I draw a little pup. That might be his head. Oh, I think this is a purple marker. His body. His paws, maybe. Maybe his tail. And an eye. I have two of them. So maybe I would draw another one. Junior can have a pointy. And he has a little tail and an eye. And I think what I might do is color them in. They're black. Here they'll just look gray. So I have a lot of things on this creation that make me happy and hopefully in an art composition would make someone else feel inspired and happy. Okay, artists, it's your turn now. Good luck, and I have no doubt that you will create from your mind and from your heart and make something really true to yourself to give to someone in need. All right, get creating.